Hi, YouTube. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing okay. I was so surprised last night. Doug kept working out there, and he got that rubber up on our woodshed basically by himself. I mean, we used the tractor, and then the clutch linkage went out for the reverse on that, so we had to go get our 4x, and we pulled it backwards. The tractor, so we could let the bucket down so it wouldn't fall on the shed and break it. So he got that done. And then when my fear robbed all my energy from being on these ladders, I went in the house. I told him I just can't do any more right now. That I would forfeit my exercises. I told him tomorrow, which is today, and then I'll have more strength in my arms because I'm still trying to build up where I broke my shoulder and my arm. And so, anyway, and then this side of me had a stroke several years ago. So, like, I'm, still healing in a lot of ways. But I mean, we're both pretty strong, but this stuff is really heavy. So he took and I suggested the clamps. Well, he went and got them, but then he got his come along, a winch. Um, but that fell apart on him when he was up on the ladder, and he had put some eyelet screw type things up on the shed so he could put like ropes through it. But he used the come along and a cable and was able to winch that rubber up on the roof. Um, It's probably about 150 pounds, but it's so dense and it's about, well, maybe like a quarter of an inch thick. But once it's down, it's like it's there. And we're both really strong people, but that was just like, and we did a smaller piece on the kitty house. Let me see, no, 2 years ago or last year, somewhere. Anyway, and it wasn't quite, but it wasn't as high. And so I wasn't as afraid to use more of my strength, you know. Like I say, I'm just scared of heights, and that's just all there is to it because I've fallen. I fell and broke my neck when I was 9. So I've had some really extreme injuries that I've recovered from. The human body is remarkable how it heals, isn't it? Or how it doesn't if people don't work on it. I think prayer has a lot to do with it too, but cheers, everybody. So I don't have to do that today. So I'm going to bake some bread after a while and do some laundry and yeah, so. And he's got it almost done. He's got a few finishing touches he's got to do on it. But yeah, I hope we have enough weather left where he can do the same to the rest of the house. There's he's gonna use like 2 foot wide rubber that's like some of them are like 20 feet long. These pieces that we're getting from this guy named Dave, which is he's a farmer. He had used these big rubber things for covering up hay and that type of thing. So, anyway, yeah, I'm just glad it's up there. Our wood isn't going to be wet this year. It was in last year, and he had sealed um, the roof, where the boards joined together and that type of thing, but it still wasn't waterproof, that type. So this year it'll be quite a bit better. you know. So I'm just hoping we have enough time left where we can get a few more things done that we want to do outside. And like yesterday, it was beautiful. It was like probably 50 degrees or so, which is pretty nice for working weather, you know. So, yeah, anyway. How many of you believe that this altercation that's going on in several places in the world, I should say altercations, are like they're telling us it is? I'm not so certain, you know. I have to ask myself, I saw, and now yeah, they could be using, and I'm not, okay, yes, I am picking a side, good against evil, but even somebody from Palestine is sending around a photo, and it said, "This isn't minced meat. These are the children, you know, the remains of them." And I had seen that photo before. Well, yeah, to make your point, I can understand that, but not everybody's so stupid. Let me rephrase that. Um, some of us have memories on things that we have seen before, and I'm one of them. So, and I remember it just like at one point, about 3 or 4 years ago, I had to tell a friend, look, I understand what's going on in your country, and I can sympathize in the biggest ways. They probably wouldn't even understand if I tried to explain it, but um, to send me a picture of a dad holding his baby girl limp in his arms, and I had seen that same photo several years back. I said, I don't know what you're trying to do, but I don't know if you know that some of us have heartache or memories of bloody messes or different traumatic things in our lives, and this really isn't helping. That's maybe for some people it is, but for me to see the same picture of a father and a daughter um 3 years later, like I did this morning with that one photo, it's like, well, that's not helping your cause with me. It might be good for other people to wake up and realize, but in that respect, why would you have to send something that I've seen before, when there's new stuff going on? And yeah, Satan, don't get no ideas of making brand new bloody messes. We've already got enough of them from the past, so yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of how I started my day. I made coffee and got on my Facebook like usual. Um, got a few things done around the house and that type of thing. Fed the kitties in and out, that type of thing. And I leave my computer on all day. I just leave my Facebook open and I leave my YouTube on. And then if I want to come in and watch something, I can pause it and come back, so. But yeah, that seeing things that I know I've seen before, that's not really benefiting anybody, I don't think, you know. Or the ones that say things are happening to them, but there's no physical evidence of that. That I've ran across two types of characters in that scenario. you know. I had a new Muslim friend join my Facebook just a couple days ago. I was reluctant of accepting his friend request because I really knew why to promote whatever his political or religious affiliation is, you know. But I thought, well, give it a chance. Now, for the most part, it wasn't too obnoxious, and it hasn't been. And I do believe that he's well meaning. I also believe that a lot of these people from Palestine and Israel aren't really well to do. They don't have a lot of money. Um, and the government does. It's just like the Kremlin. I'm sure my Russian friends can relate to this. Look at like all that gold. For God's sakes, give it to your people. What the heck are you doing? Just like the marble halls, our people, our Congress walk through in the White House. You can't even do your job and you're walking through marble halls like you're royalty. Give me a freaking break. You know, these governments that have such wealth that they portray to the whole world while their countrymen are suffering. It's like an oxymoron. They say, well, one nation under God. It just doesn't look like it. Not to me, you know. Even with Russia, it's like, yeah, you love your people, but how much do you love your people? The same with Israel, Palestine, China, whoever. They all pretend like that, you know. Oh, we love our people, but we live in riches while they live in squalor. Yeah. Or live hand to mouth from one week to the next, not knowing if they can afford groceries or utilities or, oh, now here's something. We have friends that live in a flat, like an apartment in Russia, and their temperature in their house gets like about 40 degrees during the night. They practically wake up freezing. They're thinking about building like a cabin or a shack or whatever they would call, like a house or a smaller house on the land that they have. And then maybe heating it with wood. I'm not quite certain, but Doug was going to take some pictures of ours and of our house and send it to him, and he's got some things he wants to pick up around the outside of it first, like the refrigerator we just kicked out the door. That's got to go. And then he'll take some pictures of it. He just wants it to look nice. And we've got to get our outside things done first. And like I say, he wants it to look nice when he does take the pictures. So then he'll do that. Oh, Doug had a message for everybody. He said, enlightenment sneaks up on you. Well, for me, I don't feel like that. But for Doug, I can see where that would have happened. It's yeah, it could be. Yeah, for him it is different. It was different. So, and we'll just see how that plays out, you know, because I really don't trust anybody, especially when I've had reason not to in the past. I mean, I'll give them a chance as far as I'll watch what you're doing, I'll listen to what you're saying, and I sorta, but not wholeheartedly, give you the benefit of the doubt. I give you the grace of God within me, hoping that there'll be some rising up of people's natures, but I don't take stock in it and I don't hold my breath. I just hope. It's like with people that I know either just wanted to use me in my life or just didn't care one way or another, I can always hope that you'll become a real human being when you actually grow into who you're supposed to be, but I don't know that demons can do that. Of course, the word demon just is like a messenger anyway, and it's been demonized, but oh, there's devils, that's for sure. It's not, there's no doubt in my mind that um, Satan possesses his own, you know. I believe God can go into a evil person's heart, but I just haven't seen it, you know. I've seen ones that pretend. I'll tell you a couple good stories that I heard about. This one. That guy, I think it was in Tennessee, has what he calls emotional support alligator, and he seriously, this is real, takes it around and people can pet it and whatever. And he says it hasn't bit anybody yet. Okay, whatever. Whatever. You know, it's still reptilian, and when they're hungry, they're hungry, you know. So even if he raised it, I don't know. That's this my opinion, just because it's like um oh, them lion tamers where the one actually got mangled by one of their own lions, it's like what was it, Siegfried and Freud, I think is what they called it. It was a circus that they totally closed down after all that happened. Some of you might recall that. So yeah, it's like I had a wolf puppy and I had to put it down because my youngest son was teasing it and it started getting a little freaky. Not with me, but with other people. So, no. I wild animals are wild animals, you know. That's the way it is. And that's our nature. Here's another good story. This is just a joke, actually, but is it? There was a Mohawk Indian guy, and he had a book in front of a settler. And the book said how to learn your language. So this Mohawk guy wants to learn his native language. And the settler said to him, "Why do you want to learn a language that isn't even spoken anymore?" And the native replied, "Because I want to be able to communicate with my ancestors when I get to the promised land." And the settler said to him, "Well, what if you go to hell?" And the Mohawk said, "I already know English." Ha ha. I thought that was funny. you know, it's so true. This is the most satanic language ever created just for these times. Wow. all the thought that was put in behind the deception with the language and the words and oh. And once again somebody had told Doug something like 33-degree Masons have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it to you. I'm like, Mac, no. My dad was a 3-time over Grand Master Mason, 33rd degree, 3 times the Grand Master of his lodge, and a Jesuit with Shriner rights and a few other things. So he's like, he's up there. And I am telling everybody, listen to me. Evil does not tell you what it's going to do before it does it to you, unless they're mocking you. It's not a contract between God and Satan that Satan has to tell you what he's going to do to you before he does it. It just is not like that. It's like I told Doug, I said, hold it right here. I put my arm back. I said, now I'm going to punch you in your head when I'm telling you, but just pretend I didn't tell you, and that would be entirely evil. He agreed, and it scared him just me jacking my arm back, and made him think. I go, I really get sick of hearing this. Evil does not tell you before it strikes. People need to get that straight. The only thing they're doing is mocking people to cause more fear or whatever, you know. Oh, yeah. It's a lot of information I learned when I was like 12 through 15 that I started talking about on this planet, and it wasn't in the media or the mainstream or common knowledge or how like they would have their own Jesus that they're going to raise up as the Antichrist in place of, you know, that type of thing and try and wipe out all Christ's blood, which just so happens to be a lot of the Palestinians, a lot of the Native Americans, a lot of the Japanese, and there's some other cultures, and a lot of them are people of color. And if you think about the genocides that have actually gone on this planet, are a lot of people of color. And if you watch the Synagogue of Satan and really learn the truth about the Holocaust, you'll be enlightened in that area. I'm not going to go into it on here. It's still on my Facebook page. I have it pinned up there for new people coming over there. It's a 5-hour investment of your life to learn real history and the truth of it all. So now there's people that are of the Jewish faith and they don't even live in Israel. And I believe personally, no matter what they say, that I have a greater understanding of history than they do. And if they really loved their fellow man, they'd probably not just look at their side of the situation, but view it from the rest of the world's viewpoint and maybe learn something. But there aren't very many people that are willing to learn when they think what they're doing is right, like the end justifies the means. Not always. Sometimes your means are going to send you to hell. So, and that is a decision that each person makes on their own. um, there's no justification for what's going on in the minds of these warring, bloodthirsty people. I don't care for what reason. There's no justifying it, you know. They're not going to justify ways to pray for the people that they're warring with. I don't know. I have not heard any rabbi out here actually praying for the Palestinian people. I know they pray for their own, but what about the rest of the people they say that they're the stewards of? Isn't that a goddamn joke? That somebody that would approve of murder for any reason calls themselves the steward of me? That flips me out. Hey, if I could like do it on camera, I'd be flipping all over here. That's how flipped out I am. You know, that's a joke. So, have another smoke with you and chat for a while, and then I gotta go get some laundry on and my bread going, and yeah. So, I did end up making my jalapenos and scrambled eggs, and then I took a little bowl of Fruit Loops, and they were pretty awful. They're the fake ones, but even if they were the real ones, I'm allergic to citric acid, so I probably should have just left them alone. But I cut up a banana in there. So instead of having like toast, I thought, well, I'll make it like a dessert and my carbs all in one. And I think that was a mistake. I was okay with the eggs and the jalapenos, and Doug came in, and I go, do you want me to make you some of these? It was so good, and it really was just really simple and just great. I just threw like a handful of jalapeno slices in my pan, and um, they're the pickled ones. And then, I drain them a little bit, and then just crack a couple eggs and kind of mix it around and flip them over, and pretty much it's really quick. I just felt like I needed a vegetable protein and vegetable, and then I was thinking fruit. I was going to have raspberries with my cereal, but I didn't get them soon enough, and they started getting moldy. That's a bummer. I just should have had them 2 days ago, but I didn't feel like it. So, oh, that's terrible when that happens, And they smelt like they were going to be really good too. So, another time. I do have some strawberries, and then I have some in the freezer too. So, but I didn't feel like taking any out, and I just wanted raspberries actually. So, yeah, but it was okay. I'm not making anything special today. I've got some ground turkey. I'm just gonna cook that. I don't know if I'm gonna have like sweet potatoes with it or a salad or whatever, but I'm just making that and then baking some bread and then whatever we have with it, because that's been in the freezer for a while and I need to use it up. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. The biggest thing that we can do is pray for a ceasefire on all these war fronts. Just that would go viral, that everybody's hearts would feel that way, would be remarkable. You know, that's the best thing we can do. Just pray for a ceasefire, you know. Although when they say peace and safety, all hell will break loose, that's what the scriptures say, so. But we got to get it over with sooner or later, don't we? Maybe better sooner than later. Why prolong? people suffering, even if it isn't a physical suffering. Even the people that believe in war, they're suffering. I mean, when your brain isn't working the way God made you to think, you're suffering. So, even if you don't think you are, I can guarantee you, rest assured, if you have any excuses for war, you're not how God made you to be. It's a fact. Just really reminds me as simple as this. Like, I'm not one of these people how like, okay, say you're a little kid and your friend doesn't like your friend, you know. I'm not one of these people that's really going to tolerate that type of thing or join in with my friend because they don't like somebody else. I may end up not liking my friend because they are trying to instill my um, dislike of another person just for that reason alone. It might just be the end of it all right there. Oh, so you're trying to make me hate somebody? And I might love them. I might not even know them, but just the mere fact that somebody would try and sway my better judgment that I make on my own, and that's, the way I feel about it's like children. It's petty like that in the minds of these people, you know. To me, it's petty. To them, it may mean the world. That piece of land over there might be the bane of their existence, you know, what they live and die for. I'm just not like that. Actually, a few people in my life have gotten in some deep water by trying to sway me against another person. That's right there where I'm going to take a look at what's going on and ask myself, why? Why do you want me to think this way about a certain person? Now, if we have that in common, our dislike for somebody or a group of somebody's because what they're doing is just downright horrible, then we would have that in common. You wouldn't have to tell me I'd already be feeling like that by myself, you know? If people are inciting violence or overlooking war with any part of their soul, it's not the part that I use. It's just not. We are not the same like that, and you are not superior. You're barbaric if you are like that, or they are, and they're heathenistic. Yeah, they are. But they feel so elevated. That's what gets me. It's like, how can you put yourself up on that pedestal? You're a high horse with all your shame. How can you do that? I think that horse is going to buck you off. Myself, I know people that have went to get on a good horse and they had a bad spirit, and that horse does not want anything to do with them. It's like they'll like sidestep, or I've seen it. experienced it. I saw a horse lay down and roll over on its saddle, and the dude started kicking her, and he was going to smack her, and I got there. I was only 13, maybe, and I told him, "You hit that horse one more time, and we're going to fight, you know. Well, you need to stay out of it." And I said, "No, you need to leave her alone." I said, "I'll ride this one today." I got her up. She was a good horse. She just did not like him. And horses know, they got a sense like that. My horse was the best watchdog God ever created, and a very big one. You know, she didn't even bark. She'd snort though. Oh, this one guy, I've told you this before, but he would walk down the road, and I don't know what she had against him, but she just could not stand that guy. He must have looked like somebody that had done something to her, because or she'd smell him going by, or I don't know. But when she was like rearing up and running and snorting, and I'm like, holy shit, that dude wouldn't want to walk in my yard. I don't know what it was, but just certain people would strike her bad like that, and she'd just go nuts. But that one guy in particular that used to live around here, called him, well, his last name was Moses. Yeah, he was a piece of work. Moses used to, this is funny, go to his mailbox in his tidy whitey underwear. We live out in the country. Yeah, it's a dirt road, and I'm taking my kids to school, and we're in the car, and we see him cross the road, and I'm like, I really can't believe what I'm seeing here. I rolled down my window. I go, "You really need to put some clothes on." You know, he just looked at me kind of stupid. Yeah. I don't know what he was doing, if he was like selling meth, or what he was doing up around here. Um, Renting a cabin from some friends of ours, but way back in the woods. And but one night, oh God, it must have been probably 4 o'clock in the morning or somewhere around there. Had cops walking in my house thinking it was his house, and they were looking for him. And this one little twerp, we call him like he was like a ex-Marine type kind of, and all I seen was this black glove, like a Michael Jackson glove, them part leather ones, opening up my door and coming in. I had heard noise outside. I got up to use the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom, and I said to Doug, "Somebody's coming in our house." And then I got out there, and I'm like, "You got the wrong house. You just don't walk in people's houses." He says, "I have a warrant." I said, "Not for my house. Get the hell out of here." You know. Then he acted like he was going to get all uppity, and it's like, shh, get out of here. One we call like baby fuzz, just little. What a idiot, you know. And it is really dark out here, yeah, and you can't really see the fire numbers that we have, or our addresses and that type of thing, if you're out driving around in the middle of the night down our dirt road. It's spooky, yeah. And he probably even scared himself walking in here. Should have been, too. I just know he's lucky that I wasn't about 18 years old because he wouldn't have just walked in that door. But I'd say 17 for sure. Anywhere in between there and maybe 20 before I had children, the outcome would not have been the same, because I'm a little different than I was. Before you have kids, you're different, or you should be, I think. It's like saw a meme on Facebook and I love it. It says something about um how unwise a man is to think the same way when he's 50-year-old that he did when he was 20. And that's why I hate these memes of people will pass around like age is just a number, or calling grandmas instead of matriarchs, and women of knowledge or whatever. They'll put like queen agers, or it's like, if you're not proud of your being older and intelligent, well then, keep pretending you're a child, I guess. Whatever floats your boat, you know. But I wouldn't go back and be as stupid as I was when I was like 17 years old or whatever. You can pay me to be that stupid again. You know, I appreciate all I've learned. Not through the hard lessons. You don't always have to learn things the hard way to benefit from them. And that's kind of another misnomer, It's like, mm, sometimes you can learn things like a gentle way and actually have it sink in without having it pounded into your soul, you know. So, well, that's probably about it for today. I gotta get that bread on and some laundry going, that type of thing. I'm just really thankful I didn't have to get up on that ladder again today, or I still might go out and help later. It depends on, what we need to do to get things done. But yeah, like last night, I just could not do anymore, you know. And like I say, I was up there and all my energy was expended out of fear. I don't fear, like I told Doug, I can be, and he knows this of me, I can be confronted with this gigantic, seething creature in front of me, and I don't have the fear. But put me on a ladder because I've fallen, and and it's just something. I mean, this stuff, physical things like that hurt, and the fear of like breaking bones and stuff, and you don't sleep when you have broken things, So yeah, it's scary. He said he was afraid too because we're working, it's really muddy out. It's been raining, and the ladder sinks, and when you're going up the rungs, you don't know if you're gonna miss one, and then when you're coming back down and you're tired, and I mean all of it, you know, things that you don't really um appreciate when you're younger. You kind of feel like you're infallible, like, nothing's really gonna harm you and you're gonna be okay, that type of thing. But, you know, things happen. So, all right, everybody, I appreciate you joining me. Have a really beautiful night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Talk to you tomorrow.